Welcome to the Nurburgring in Germany. This is round 2 of Superleague Formula. V12 engine cars racing under the flag of some of the best known football clubs in the world. 18 cars are on the track, split into 2 groups of 9 for today's qualifying section. The top 4 go into the quarter-finals. You'll see it all here. So here the confirmation of the qualifying draw. In Group A, it's Roma, Basel, Porto, Dortmund, Glasgow Rangers, Olympiacos, Corinthians, Galatasaray and Atletico Madrid. So the car's already in the pit lane. And that's Basel we're seeing there, right at the front of the line of cars. Just behind them, Borussia Dortmund.
He's going to try to make a move to try to have a clear track in front of him for the qualifying round, but he hasn't managed.
This is just a warm-up lap, isn't it, Bruce?
Yes, it's a warm-up lap. They have to warm up the car and mainly the tyres because it's quite cold out there, and there's already 3 cars on track.
Corinthians just about to leave the garage. Corinthians in 14th in the championship. Antonio Pizzonio from Brazil is their driver, making his debut today. Grew up in Sao Paulo, former Brazilian national champion, and has raced in the USA for most of his career.
He's gone to Formula 1 as well. He did the race for Jaguar Formula 1 as well as for Williams. So he has a lot of experience, and it's going to be very interesting to see how he performs over the weekend.
So who are the teams we're going to have to look out for here, Bruce, from Group A? Who are going to be the main players?
In Group A, I think Roma was very strong this morning, and Rangers as well.
And here are Glasgow Rangers. James Walker had a remarkable morning because this is his first time in Super League Formula, and he set the fastest practice round.
Yes, he did just one test earlier this winter, which was a long time ago, and now it's back. It's really his first time, and he's doing very well. He did very well and looked very strong this morning.
Just going into the horseshoe-shaped part of the course. They break downhill. But Rangers are one of the fanciest teams to qualify from Group A. Let's go on board with Rangers. James Walker. Tell me, just talk through his driving here, Bruce.
Yeah, he's still on his warm-up lap, so as you see, he starts to push, but he's not already on the edge, and he goes through this. It's not flat yet, as you can hear. He goes through turn 8, which is the Michael Schumacher S's, and he comes out of them to go to turn 9.
And this is one of the fastest parts of the track, isn't it, Bruce?
Yeah, it is. Schumacher S's are going to be taken flat for the good guys. Whoever manages to take it flat over qualifying will be at the front of the grid, for sure.
Coming up to the chicane, and we're going to see a lot of drivers slowing down and braking and trying to get through here. This is the Basel car, Max Wissel, youngest driver on the track. Into the first corner here.
Braking very hard at 100 meters. I think we were on the Rangers car starting his hot lap, and now we're back on the Basel car with Max Wissel braking into the chicane over the curbs, and who's going to start his quick lap. For the moment, no one has posted a fast lap, and FC Basel is about to cross the start-finish line and goes in a 1:43.46, which is so far the best lap on track.
But it's the first lap.
It was the first lap, and it's the first overall lap. No one has done a complete lap yet.
So just the first set of turns 2, 3 and 4 here for Max Wissel. And he heads into the long straight section down the hill, heading for the horseshoe shape. He'll start to break downhill very shortly.
Over the curb quite strongly, pushing very hard. It's qualifying time.
Let's look at Corinthians now. This is Antonio Pizzonia making his Superleague Formula debut.
And there he goes, 1:42.98. He sets the fastest lap so far into the session. Oh, car moving under the braking.
Oh, he's lost it.
Yes. You could see he was going in a little bit too quick, but he's done a good lap. So now...
It was interesting when you took me around the course yesterday. You said the braking downhill at that section is not easy.
No, it's not. Firstly, it's bumpy, and secondly, as it's going downhill, it's hard to stop the car. And there you go. We just had the proof of it. He couldn't stop the car well enough, and he just ran wide. So now he's on a slow lap, and he will push again for another quick lap at the end of this lap.
But at the moment, Corinthians have set the fastest first sector. And the best lap so far, 1:42.960, Corinthians. There they are.
In the standings, FC Porto is third, Atletico Madrid fourth, Galatasaray fifth, Dortmund and Rangers.
Olympiacos just about to leave the garage. Kasper Andersen is their Danish driver. Losing semi-finalists in the shootout at Donington to Sevilla.
It's a good strategy for them. 9 minutes to go, and they have calculated an amount of time which is just enough for him to set a good lap time.
Do you know much about Kasper Andersen?
No, not much. I know he's Danish, but that he was in the top 8 in Donington, but that's it really.
So off go Olympiacos. Just confirmation that Corinthians are the fastest, the first sector, first lap.
There he goes, warming up his tires. When tires are brand new, it's very, very slippery. You have to be very careful. Exiting turn 2 into turn 3 and 4. Very, very narrow, as you can see.
Coming into the horseshoe-shaped part of the track, which ends with the Michael Schumacher-esque. Let's see if Olympiacos can set a sort of decent time in their warm-up lap. But Corinthians still have the best of the hot laps so far. On board with Olympiacos.
Again, on a warm-up lap, but starting to push. He's halfway through the lap. Going into the Schumacher S's, still not flat through there because it's his out lap, and into the Michelin corner, up to 250 kilometers there. Not quite making the apex. Beautiful piece of track here, very nice to drive.
Down the hill. Just remember, this is Group A: Roma, Basel, Porto, Dortmund, Glasgow Rangers, Olympiacos, Corinthians, Galatasaray and Atletico Madrid have a 15-minute period to post the hottest lap possible and head into the top 4 in that group. The top 4 go through into the quarter-finals and meet the top 4 of Group B. We'll show you Group B and their racing later on.
There he goes, crossing the line. It's on his hot lap now.
That time at the top left-hand corner of your screen is part of the 15-minute allowed period to post the fastest lap.
Rangers going around the last corner, maybe a good lap. Let's check on the screen. Nope, he goes P5, 5th quickest in a 1:44.2. He is 1.2 seconds off the pace.
This, I think, is considered to be the weaker of the two groups, isn't it, Bruce?
Yes, I think it is. Well, just apart from Rangers, which was the strongest and the quickest car this morning, the rest of the field is not that strong. But look, now we have Corinthians leading the field with Basel, and then Porto, who didn't look that strong this morning. So really, Rangers have to try to get a better lap time. And here we go, we have him on screen, and we'll have a look at the first sector. Now he's far off into the first sector.
Problem for Roma, it appears.
Yes, Roma went off in turn 5. That's why the first sector is very far off for the Glasgow Rangers. He's on a slow lap. He's going to try to make a quicker lap. on the next one. And it's a shame because AS Roma was on a good lap. He had his better first sector. For the moment, AS Roma has not got a good lap time. He's last, he's P9 in the session. He really has to do a fast lap soon because there's only 5 minutes remaining.
So Roma have real problems here. They have to post a real fast lap to be in with a chance of getting into the top 4 in Group A. But at the moment it's Corinthians, Basel, Olympiacos and Porto who had those top 4 positions.
Exactly, and what an impressive performance from Antonio Pizzonia. He has been out. Yes, we have Rangers just now crossing the track, and no better. 144.4, 2/10 of his own best record. Not in the top 4.
So what's happened here, Bruce? Because this morning he was fastest in practice, and yet he can't break into the top 4 here in the group.
Yeah, it's really strange.
That's Olympiacos there.
Yes, Olympiacos doing a good performance, being 3rd at the moment, so entering the top 4 for the shootout.
But time is running out. The likes of Galatasaray and Roma and Atletico Madrid and Glasgow Rangers and Borussia Dortmund all struggling now to post a hot lap.
Dortmund is not far from entering the top 4. He's only half a tenth behind, but at the moment we have Olympiacos not on a hot lap, but maybe preparing another hot lap to try to step up a little bit better than 3rd. He has to find 3/10 to gain 1 position.
Let's see how Olympiacos do now on their hot lap. They head for the first sector.
Going into the last corner now and going to cross the start-finish line for another quick lap.
Here he goes, into the first sector, into the first turn. Can Olympiacos make progress here and get better than their current 3rd position?
Very good exit through there. Very good exit so far.
That's Galatasaray, currently in 8th position. Alessandro Pierguidi, the driver of the Galatasaray car.
They were very competitive in Donington. They missed out on the first session today, so they are a little bit. They have a lack of track time.
Into the chicane. That's Atletico Madrid. Currently in 7th position, nowhere near qualifying at the moment. Corinthians now in the lead. Galatasaray have jumped up to 2nd. Basel jumped up to 3rd. Olympiacos are 4th with just 2 minutes remaining now of qualifying.
Very good job from Galatasaray. They were very competitive in Donington. He was very unlucky, didn't have a good result, had a few problems with the car, and here he is now.
Galatasaray currently 2nd. They're on course for qualification for the quarterfinals. But there's plenty of cars behind them trying to beat his time.
And he's not anymore in a hot lap now. As you see, he takes it easy.
This is Atletico Madrid, currently 8th. They need a very quick time. Andy Susek
just made a mistake. He went into the corner sideways, so he lost a bit of time there. But he is definitely on his hot lap.
Corinthians, Galatasaray, it's changed again. Basel have the lead. They have the lead now in Group A. It's Basel, Corinthians, Galatasaray and Porto on course for qualification. Olympiacos are outside the top 4.
And only 1 minute remaining. It's now or never.
Roma are in danger of elimination, as are Atletico Madrid, Glasgow Rangers, Borussia Dortmund and Olympiacos. Atletico Madrid need a really quick time now, otherwise the racing for the day is done.
He is definitely on it, sliding the car out of the chicane, going through the last corner. Early, nice and tidy on the throttle. He's crossing the line now.
Has that moved Atletico Madrid forward and into the top 4. The answer, I think, is no.
No. 1:44.5. His best lap is a 1:44.2, so it's not even his fastest lap. He's P8, very disappointing. Well, the car is completely...
But young Max Wissel, the youngest driver on the track, is going to win with the fastest race time in Group A. He goes absolutely delighted with his...
Yeah, and I mean, it's his, as he was saying, it's his home race. He knows the track very well. Very good job, very impressive. 42.6, it's actually very quick.
We're all done and dusted. Basel, Corinthians, Galatasaray and Porto are through to the quarterfinals.
Rangers out P7. What a surprise as well. They were very good this morning. They're out for this afternoon.
This is Roma. Roma on the warm-down lap.
Still probably pushing. Let's see. Yeah, he crosses the track. He crossed the line before the 0-0, so it's his last chance. And let's see as he crosses the track. No, still P9. An improvement though, 45.6, but still not good enough. That's FC Basel team.
They must be really pleased at how young Max Wissel has done here. Extraordinary achievement.
I think he's 18 years old.
18 years old. And of course he's a relatively local driver from Germany. Alzenau is his hometown. Finished 9th in race 1 on Sunday in Donington, 7th in race 2. But Basel, Corinthians, Galatasaray and Porto are safely delivered through. And there's the winner of Group A. There's Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah, it's a shame for Nelson Philippe. He looked strong in Donington, and for some reason he's not in the top 4 now. It's you know, the two groups are quite strong, so it's a real hard battle. And to put it this way, he's only 0.04 hundredths out of the top 4, so that shows how tight it is. What a great sound is V12 engine.
You were saying to me earlier, Bruce, that it's probably the loudest noise that any racing car would make.
Oh, for sure. It's the loudest car on track ever on this planet. As simple as that.
That's the joy of Super League Formula.
Back into the pits.
Disappointment for him, and not by very much. So Borussia Dortmund come into the pits.
60 kilometers per hour is the limit.
Nelson Philippe, fan of Boca Juniors. He actually is French, but has an Argentine flavour when it comes to supporting football.
And did most of his racing in the US, in Champ Cars, notably with several wins and podiums. I think he was the youngest winner in Champ Car.
So let's check on the results from Group A. And remember, the top 4 go through to the quarterfinals. It's Basel who lead, 2nd Corinthians, 3rd Galatasaray, 4th Porto. All 4 are through. Let's talk us through how well Max Wissel did.
Well, you see he's putting back the power, slides the car over the curb very well, changing direction very aggressively. And that's going into Michelin. You see the car moving quite a lot on the bumps, turning very fast, carrying lots of speed into the corner. He did a very good job. You can see how much the Michelin tires are working.
So Group B about to go next. Already their drivers are getting ready to move out of the garages.
That's going to be very exciting because there's going to be a fight between Beijing, Liverpool, Sevilla, who was quickest in the first session this morning, Alain, and AC Milan, who's looking for a good result.
Max Wissel. This is terrific experience for him, isn't it?
Yeah, it's great. I think he's coming from Formula Renault or Formula 3, which are much smaller cars. And it's a big step for him, and he's doing very well with it.
I think we can check now on how Group B is going to line up. This is the Group B after the draw this morning. It's Beijing, Tottenham Hotspur, Liverpool, Sevilla, PSV Eindhoven, Flamengo, El Ain, Anderlecht and Milan. Remember, the top four from Group B go to meet the top four in Group A. Top four from B into the top four of A.
And funny enough, the top four, the first four of Group B are the first four in the championship.
Exactly.
So it's going to be very strong this afternoon. Just now, Tottenham.
Yeah, joint second place. They lost to Sevilla in these quarter-finals at Donington. Their driver is Duncan Tappy, who described Donington as stupidly wet. And when I asked him how he likes his car setup, he says he doesn't like to understeer.
Ah, okay. I didn't know that. Interesting. It means that he needs to have a very efficient front. A car which is very pointy. When he turns the steering wheel, he wants the car to turn immediately, basically. This is Al Ain with Adrian Zuber in turn 3, warming up his tires. Nice and gently on the throttle, not to spin the car in the outlap, because that can happen with 4 tires. Into turn 5 and 6.
Down the hill. And then they have to brake hard as they get ready for the Michael Schumacher S. It's a really tight corner.
We're now on board with Andreas Zuber, and he's warming up his tires. It's only the warm-up lap, and he's going through the Schumacher S's, just not so fast on the out lap, and hard on the brakes. Michelin should clip the curb a little bit. Yes, that's it. Changing direction. 4th gear, 180 kilometers per hour, even if it doesn't show up so much, and he's still warming up his tires, as you can see.
I thought that was just his driving.
No, you actually tend to wave to put some force into the tires to warm them up.
There is the championship leader, Beijing Guan. They were the head-to-head winner on the Saturday in Donington. 1 race 1, 6 in race 2, and the grid is reversed. And Davide Rigon is their driver.
Davide Rigon coming from Formula 3000. His driving style really suits the car, and he did a fantastic job in Donington and World Champ. We really have to pay attention to him just now. I think he could do a good job again. So far, I think hearing at the engine, he might have an engine problem. I might taking a chance, but I think he has an engine problem. Yeah.
What noise of the engine leads you to believe that, Bruce?
He has an engine problem. The engine doesn't sound very clear, it's very raw, and it looks like there is something going on. The speed looks good, but the engine makes a strange noise. Maybe I'm saying something wrong, but we'll soon see, because there is is he going back to the pits? No, he's staying on track, so everything's fine. Just a bit strange. So far, no one has posted a fast lap, and he's on for his hot lap. There he goes, crosses the line.
So here we go. Let's see how Beijing Guan get on their hot lap. Remember, they are the championship leaders. There's Liverpool, joint second with Tottenham Hotspur. Adrian Valles, the Spaniard, is behind the wheel for them.
Adrian Valles, very impressive in Donington. He is the guy the driver who overtook the most cars into turn 5, but it's only his warm-up lap. We're on board, 3rd gear, 4th, full throttle, up to 5th, 11,000 RPMs, and not braking that late. It's only his out lap, still warming up the tires, taking it easy, preparing for his next lap, which is going the hot lap. 3rd and 4th, up to 5th. Schumacher S's, not so much curb, it's the first lap, he's still paying attention. fifth, and then gently down to third. Still warming up the tires. And still already nearly 3 Gs lateral, which is 3 times the weight of your body and head, actually, so it tells you how hard it is physically. Warming up the tires.
Second fastest in morning practice. Liverpool, PSV Eindhoven are right up after a fast lap. 1:43.950 PSV.
And just now AC Milan just posted the fastest lap, 1:42.92. Fantastic lap from AC Milan. Not still quite as fast as in Group A, but it's only the first lap, and 42 already, very good.
Let's have a look at the sector times. Remember, the track divided into 3, Sector 1, Sector 2 in the final. And Milan have posted the fastest lap so far, 47.994. Can Liverpool beat that? Surely they will.
They're looking good. They are looking good. 30 still nice and tidy. Back on the throttle, sliding the car. That's oversteer. 5, 6. It's gonna be fast, but not fast enough. Oh yes, he's only 200s behind, so he's actually on track, the fastest car at the moment.
Watch out for Liverpool heading into the top 4 then. The cars have another 8-9 minutes to post their fastest lap so far to try and qualify from Group B. It's Milan, PSV, Beijing and Flamengo in the top 4 positions.
Pushing very hard, as you can see, sliding the car over the curb. The car's touching on the floor. You can see the smoke coming out the back of the car. It's because the car is actually bottoming on the curb. Very fast indeed, and there he goes. No, 24.2, he's 24.7, he's 2/10 slower.
So the final sector is going to be vital here. Maybe
yes.
Too much to do?
It's going to be tough, but that's fast in, that's quite good. He can make it, he still can make it. Good exit through there. There he goes, crosses the line. No. 43.3, he's 4/10 soft. But he's P2, he's second, so he still goes through.
It's Milan, Liverpool, PSV and Beijing in the top 4 positions in Group B. Confirmation of that. Flamengo and Anderlecht just outside those top 4. Spurs struggling in 7th place. Alain back in 8th.
And I think Liverpool is still on a hot lap, trying to put a quick lap in, another one.
Basically, they'll try a maximum of 3 hot laps, won't they, Bruce?
Exactly, 3 laps. So we still have to look at Liverpool, still have to look at Milan, and I can confirm to you that Beijing, they have an engine problem. It just crossed in front of us, and the engine doesn't sound clear at all, and he's actually 4th. It means he's performing very, very well. I think he misses a cylinder in the car, so you can imagine how fast it could be if the engine was working well.
So you spotted it absolutely right, Bruce. He does have an engine problem.
Yeah, but the engine that doesn't sound clear at all.
Flamengo back into the pits.
Only P5, 5th position for Flamengo, swapping to the new set of tires.
These tyres would only last, what, 3 laps maximum?
Yeah, they have a peak of performance which lasts 2-3 laps, probably 3 laps today because the temperature is quite cold.
Again, Flamengo Turco Roca, the Brazilian driver.
Getting ready with, again, 6 minutes to go.
PSV Eindhoven. Just coming into the paddock now.
Oh, what a slide. Beautiful.
They hit speeds of 280 kilometers per hour as they pass the main grandstand. It's now Milan, Liverpool, PSV and Tottenham have jumped up into 4th position. Tottenham 4th. Beijing down to 5th, and they have engine problem.
Okay, PSV Eindhoven on a hot lap. Oh, exiting a little bit too far and locking the inside wheel into turn 3. Still keeps it on the track and tidy, exiting properly. Oh, again too wide there. I think the first sector is not going to be good enough. He's still trying, still pushing hard. We'll know in 10 seconds if the first sector is good enough for a better lap. Over the curb on the exit. 5, 6, 7. No, 48.4 is 5/10 off in the first sector. There is no way he's going to make it.
So the surprise still is Beijing Guan.
Yes.
I mean, can they get back on the track and post a hot lap? They've only got just over 5 minutes to do it.
No, I don't think it's possible. If they want to fix the engine problem, they will never have time to go back on track. I think it's over for him, but it will be interesting to see in the race.
PSV Eindhoven in third place. Here's the sector timing against Milan. Slower than Milan over the first sector, slower over the second. He's not going to make it, is he?
No, 7/10 off, and the last sector is very short. Last sector is only the chicane and the last corner. Even though he slides the car a lot and still tries, it's not going to happen. 44.1. It's not fast. It's not as fast as his own personal best time.
As it stands, Milan would play a quarter-final against Porto from Group A. As it stands.
Yeah, good performance from AC Milan.
This is Tottenham, I think.
Yes.
Tottenham currently in fourth position. Heading into the horseshoe-shaped part of the course. Downhill, braking late. Milan are the leaders. That's why we're comparing times always against Milan's, because they're in top position in Group B. And Spurs currently fourth, so they would qualify as it stands. And if they stay in fourth, they'd play Basel in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, they could. I mean, that actual lap, we see him pushing, but he made a mistake in the first sector. He's 1 second off in the first sector. So there is no way he should abort that lap as he's sliding all over the place. I think his tires are gone, basically, so when you haven't got the tires anymore, it's
just
gone.
Looking at the leaderboard here, Bruce, is anybody going to break into that top four? And who and might it be?
Well, it should be really, Beijing should be doing something, but they won't because they have an engine problem. The surprise for me is Al Ain, only 145.9, they're last. I don't know what happened to them. Crossing the finish line is Tottenham, and he's obviously not improving. 145.4 on that last lap, 2.5 seconds behind. So best lap of AC Milan, 42.9, which is 3/10 off Max Wissel from FC Basel. So the overall fastest car is FC Basel. And it turns out that the strongest group, it's not the Group B as we were thinking, but it's the Group A.
It's Milan, Liverpool, Flamengo and PSV on course to qualify for the quarterfinals. As it stands, it will be Basel against Spurs, Corinthians, PSV, Galatasaray, Liverpool and Porto, Milan. That's the way the quarterfinals would line up, but there's still 2 minutes of qualifying left in Group B.
Anderlecht now on track with pushing hard, and he's on a hot lap, and he's in the last corner now.
About to go into turn 12 and back into the paddock again, the paddock area.
Over the start-finish line, there he goes. No improvement, so he's probably starting his hot lap now. Craig Dolby for Anderlecht into turn 1.
I think he made a mistake there, didn't he?
Yeah, he ran a little bit wide, it's true, yes. We'll have a look at the sector times. He does very well there. Perfect, good exit, nice and tidy.
Just 1:20 left of qualifying from Group B. It really is now or never for some of the teams down from positions 5 to 9.
Strange, we haven't seen the Sevilla car on track. Borja Garcia, who did not enter the last... I think he's on track now, just on track now, Borja Garcia. He has 1 minute to post a fast lap, just one.
So can Sevilla come up with a late track? Anderlecht.
And Anderlecht so far is fastest on the track with 1/10.5 advance in the first sector. Let's have a look at the second sector.
Let's stay with Anderlecht. This is a fast lap, a really hot lap by Anderlecht here. They could even take the lead. into the chicane. Coming up to the last turn, turn 12. He'll be into the paddock shortly. Let's see how he does here.
Sector 2 on just 1/10 behind, so he could enter the top 4.
Is this good enough to enter the top 4 in Group B for Anderlecht? We will know in the next few seconds.
Come on. Yes. Anderlecht P2, second.
Oh, he's right up into second position.
Good job. So it means that Eindhoven is now out of the top 4. PSV Eindhoven is 5th. Flamengo is 4th. Good performance from Tuka Rocha. And let's have a look if Sevilla has enough time to post a good lap time. Still on board with Anderlecht.
He did really well.
Very good performance. Very good line through there. Sevilla just crossed the start-finish line and a 1:46.9. Okay, Sevilla had a problem.
Can anybody else break into that top 4 now, Bruce?
Well, let's have a look at PSV just now, who could, and actually no, it's bad exit from the chicane. And yeah, he's entering the pits. So now it's all over. What a shame for Sevilla. Sevilla was fastest in the second practice session this morning. And they probably had a problem and could only join for the last minute, and he didn't have enough time to post a quick lap. So we have Beijing out of the top 4, Sevilla out of the top 4. The two strong ones, the ones we were expecting to be at the front, they're out.
And this means the quarter-final lineup, I think, will look like this. Basel will play Flamengo, Corinthians will play Liverpool, Galatasaray will play Anderlecht, and Porto will play Milan.
Still going to be very interesting. Milan did a good job, must be very happy and delighted to be on pole after such a disappointment in Donington.
There's the Anderlecht car in second place, safely through to the quarterfinals, and where his team will play Galatasaray.
Yes, Galatasaray and AC Milan being run by Scuderia Play Team.
Why did Sevilla wait so late to try and post a hot lap?
I think they had a technical problem. They didn't take part in the last practice session. And they were probably fixing the problem, and they didn't have time to go back on track early enough.
This is a warm down lap now, I think, by Anderlecht.
Yes, indeed.
So the competition is just about over in terms of qualifying. We have our 8 qualifiers for the head-to-head. If you just joined us, this is a novel formula for motor racing. Teams go into a head-to-head. They've been qualifying from Group A and Group B. Top 4 have gone through, and we now have 4 quarterfinals. Basel against Flamengo. Corinthians will play Liverpool. Galatasaray, Anderlecht. Porto will play Milan. The winners go through to the semi-final, and by the end of the day, we'll have a knockout winner. And Beijing Guan, who won the knockout in Donington, are out, eliminated after finishing 7th in Group B.
Yes, a big surprise, and the other surprise is Corinthians with Antonio Pizzonia, which showed us his experience by on his first day in the car, qualifying for the shootouts.
Right, let's confirm the results from Group B then. These are the qualifiers from Group B. Milan, Anderlecht, Liverpool and Flamengo. PSV Eindhoven are just out of the top 4 with Spurs, Beijing, the current championship leaders, El Ain and Sevilla, who had obviously had technical problems, only managed 1 lap and couldn't post a hot lap.
Yes, you see how close were Flamengo, Eindhoven and Tottenham all together in the same 1/10 of a second. So position 4 was very, very tight indeed.
Anderlecht did really well, didn't they?
Yeah, very good job again. Max Wiesel and himself did a very good job. Craig Dolby did a good job. They're the 2 less experienced driver of the series, and they're up there.
Craig Dolby, one of the rookies. didn't finish either race 1 or race 2 on the Sunday in Donington. But he'll be pretty happy with the way things have gone. Let's concentrate now on a team who didn't do particularly well at Donington at all, Milan, and Robert Doornbos. And they won Group B. They posted the fastest time. There's Robert Doornbos, who said he just wanted anything better.
Yes, I think Robert is pretty confident that he can get a good result, as you can see. And he was very unlucky in Donington. The performance was there already, though.
Let's have a look at some of his hot laps here.
Great. I'm sure he's going to lock the inside wheel. No, it's not. He's not.
This is his first turn here we're looking at.
Very good. Clipping the apex, braking really hard. You can see the car being very stressed on turn in. Up, apex, car jumps down and he fights the car a little bit on the throttle. Manages to set the car very well for turn 2. Good job there, changing direction. Very smooth there.
There's the winner from Group A, Max Wissel, a German driver, just 18 years old, giving us a thumbs up. Let's see how he did in Group A and the story of his success, Bruce.
That's him on track. Going into just before the Schumacher S's.
This is where the positive camber can help the drivers, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I think that's his warm-up lap, though, and the positive camber makes the car stick to the ground even better. And he did a very good job indeed there. He's getting ready for the shootouts.
Yeah.
Pressure must be coming on, and
because Basel will play Flamengo.
yes, I think Basel looked very strong, and it's going to be a good challenge for Flamengo.
So he's staying in his car for the time being, because he'll be the first of the quarterfinals, because he won Group A and will play the 4th place club in Group B.
It's the best way to go, to stay in the car.
So confirmation of the quarterfinals: FC Basel against Flamengo. It's Porto against Milan, Corinthians against Liverpool, and Galatasaray from Turkey against Anderlecht from Belgium. Basel out on the track, closely followed by the Brazilians from Flamengo.
I think they have a problem on the car. I can see the Hewland people working on the gearbox. Yes, definitely.
What would happen here, Bruce, if Flamengo were to default and couldn't get out on the track? Actually, it's looking good, isn't it?
Yes, yes. Well, let's not say anything. Let's hope it goes on the track.
Is there a time limit? Do they have to get out in a certain time?
Yes, they do. Otherwise, then simply Basel would have won.
This slight pause in proceedings, will that favour Basel or Flamengo?
None of them really. It doesn't change much. The track conditions are the same. Everything remains the same.
So this is his warm-up lap.
Exactly.
This is FC Basel and Max Wissel. And Flamengo just leaving the pits now. We'll be doing very shortly. There was obviously some gearbox problems for Flamengo. We'll see if they're in evidence when he gets out onto the track. That weaving, all to do with heating up the wheels, isn't it? Tyres.
Exactly, yes. You're heating up the tires, front and rear. It's much easier to warm up the rears as you have an engine and a propulsion putting in lots of stress into the tires. It's harder to put the temperatures in the front ones, and that's why they wave.
Flamengo just out onto the track, so they will actually start when they pass the start-finish point, won't they?
Yes, exactly. When they go over the start-finish line, it's going to be their hot lap.
So where will the race begin? Very shortly. He's going into the chicane.
Okay, he starts to push. There you go, into the last corner, getting ready, having a good exit.
And here he goes, he's about to start his lap now. Can he get a fast lap and push Flamengo out the way and get a place in the semi-finals?
Okay, braking for the first corner. No mistakes. Using all the track width. Good exit there.
Coming up into the third turn, heading down into a long straight section down the hill.
First sector for FC Basel is quite good. He's going to be quite good, I think.
We're on board with Flamengo, who now are getting ready to pace their own lap.
Okay, Flamengo into the first corner, braking hard over the bumps. Oh, blocking the wheel inside. Still manages to take the apex. Changing direction for turn 2. A little bit too wide there. He's really pushing hard. And the first sector of FC Basel is 47.8, which is quite a good sector.
Can Flamengo beat that, though, and give themselves an advantage here?
Well, he's pushing really hard. He's over the curbs there. Has a good exit. We'll soon see if he is competing. Okay, Flamengo there still. Tidier, takes it a little bit more easy. Basel is gonna cross the start-finish line soon. Basel exiting the last corner. Let's have a look at the time. 1:42.48. Fantastic lap time. Fantastic lap time.
Max Wissel has posted a really hot lap, and can Flamengo get anywhere close to that?
Okay, we're on board for the end of the Flamengo lap time. Okay, not so bad. Nothing great there. Exiting on the curve, having quite a good exit. But he's not. It's going to be super hard. I'm doubting that he can make it.
You think Max Wissel's got this, don't you?
Yes, I think he does, because it's a fantastic lap time. The fastest lap time today on track. Good exit there from Tucaroca.
Final turn now. Can he accelerate and beat Max Wissel's time?
44.6.
Nowhere near.
Nowhere near. Fantastic job from Max Wissel and Basel.
The first quarter-final is all over, and Basel are through to the semis. They've beaten Flamengo.
Flamengo nowhere near Basel, because Basel did a fantastic job with a 1:42.4. He looks very, very strong. He is, for me, the strongest today so far.
So FC Basel through to the semi-finals, and the success Max Wissel enjoyed in winning Group A has been carried through into the quarter-finals here of Super League Formula.
Very good job, taking it easy, saving his tires for later on. He's gonna have to fight for the semi-finals, and by the look of it, maybe the finals. We'll see. I think that for Flamengo, having a technical problem just before you're starting your
That's why I asked you. I said, would it have an effect? And you said, no, possibly not.
No, I was thinking, technically speaking, will it change anything? But it has an effect, because it puts pressure and on the driver, and you're a little bit nervous. If you're a little bit nervous, then you end up making mistakes, like we saw he did in turn 1 and 2, locking the wheel into the corner and running wide.
Do you think there was an issue with the gearbox during the race?
It's hard to say. They were actually working. No, I don't think he had an issue with the gearbox, because he still posted a 1:44.6, which is quite good. I think Flamengo just did the mistake.
Let's confirm that then. The result of the first quarter-final: FC Basel are through to the semi-finals after beating Flamengo, and beating them quite easily. So, garaged until the semi-finals, FC Basel and Max Wissel, who's really enjoying himself. Corinthians versus Liverpool is our next quarter-final.
Corinthians with a new set of tyres again. They looked pretty strong. He's still on a learning curve.
Porto getting ready to come out for their quarter-final against Milan.
Against Corinthians.
Liverpool, Corinthians.
Oh, that's strange. Corinthians is there. Okay, they got confused. Yes, and so did we. It's AC Milan which should join. Sorry about that.
So why's the Corinthians car out there then?
I think it's maybe Corinthians who made a mistake. They thought they got confused.
They confused me.
Yes, and I think they really want to do it.
Let's get this absolutely crystal clear. It's Corinthians against Liverpool and Porto against Milan. Which of those quarterfinals is going to unfold first? We'll see.
Well, it looks like Antonio Pizzonia was on a rush to go. He really wants to fight and go for it.
Liverpool,
yes.
I think, are ready. So Liverpool will be taking place in the second quarter-final.
Okay. Well, Mike is not happy.
It doesn't look happy, does he? We've got the right two cars anyway. And you can probably see from your screens, it's Corinthians against Liverpool.
Very interesting fight. Third and second from Group A and B. It's going to be a very interesting battle. They had very similar lap times in the overall qualifying just before. They are bringing the starters to start the engines again, to fire up the engines. As you see at the back of the cars, big starters. They're bringing the tire covers, as you can see, but not putting them on the tires. Just for you to understand, the cars are not going on track with cold tires. They're actually having tire warmers, which are bringing the tires up to 80 degrees. So it's safe when they go on track, and they can actually push immediately on lap 2.
This is not ideal, is it? Have this sort of braking procedure, because it's not good for the drivers, it's not good for the cars either.
Exactly, it's especially not good for the tires, because the tires temperature are going back down. That's pretty bad. But he will have to push really hard now to get the tire temperatures back up.
So tire temperature is crucial now, but we're definitely going to see Corinthians meet Liverpool in the second quarter-final. And there is the Corinthians driver, Antonio Pizzonia from Brazil. This is his warm-up lap.
Yes, into turn 3 and 4. He looked very strong.
Just coming towards the Michael Schumacher S, the bend. So he's about a quarter of the way around the track here, the Nurburgring. There's Liverpool.
Really interested in that battle, because they're very much together.
Who would you guess will win this one, Bruce?
Not easy, because it was very close. So really, I can't make a decision.
This one the closest to the quarterfinals, perhaps?
Probably yes. Okay, should I say Liverpool? Okay.
I don't know. We're going to follow Corinthians the time being. Corinthians about to decelerate into the chicane, and that means once he's through the chicane, he will accelerate right through to the start-finish line, and that is where his lap will begin. Here he comes, Corinthians. Antonio Pizzonia will start his lap now.
And here he goes into turn 1, hard on the brakes, very tricky place. You see the bumps, still manages to stop the car very well, makes the apex, runs a little bit wide on the outside, but still keeps it all together. Good into turn 2, nice and early. Oh, a little bit wide. We will see how good the first sector will be. Oh, quite early in turn 4, but it seems to be working well. Okay, very aggressive into turn 5 and still makes plenty of use of the track.
How would you assess this drive so far?
Very good, very good. The best first sector from Basel was a 47.4, and it's a 47.2 for the Corinthians.
Wow.
Fantastic lap for the moment. Can he keep it together till the end? Ooh, strong lap. For sure, strong lap. Oh la la, what a drive. Pushing very hard.
Into the maximum speed area of this track, into the chicane. The deceleration will happen very shortly now for Corinthians, but they're posting a pretty strong lap here in the quarter-final against Liverpool. We'll pick up Liverpool very shortly when we see Corinthians end their lap here. He's going to end his lap very shortly indeed. Here he comes. Let's see how he finishes.
Ooh, 42.2. Even quicker than Basel. Fantastic lap.
The fastest lap of the day. Here come Liverpool.
Liverpool about to cross the start-finish line.
Can they beat that time?
Oh, 142.5. Very good lap, but not.
Just outside. Corinthians are through. Liverpool pushed them really, really hard, but Adrian Valles unable to catch that outstanding piece of driving by Antonio Pizzonia. And Pizzonia has taken Corinthians through to the semi-finals. High fives all round down at the Corinthians pit.
Hey, we have Antonio Ferrari and Ferdinando Ravarotto, who is the engineer of Antonio Pizzonia. They've been working together in the past in GP2. They've been successful. You got Fernando just there. Very good job, very impressive. 42.2. Very good job.
You impressed with that, the Corinthians team?
Yeah, because they just went stronger and stronger. First practice this session, they were last. Second practice this session, they were in the middle of the field. Third practice session, they started to be up there. Qualifying first, and he wins again.
Well, it's turning into some very fast times now. 1:42.207 from the Corinthians. The Corinthians have the best times so far here at the Nurburgring for the Superleague Formula meeting. Remember, we're in the stage of the quarterfinals here. Basel have beaten Flamengo. Corinthians have now beaten Liverpool. Both move into the semi-finals. Still to come, it's Galatasaray against Anderlecht, Porto against Milan, where this is a warm-down lap. This is non-competitive at the moment.
Yes, back into the pits. Very good job from Antonio Pizzonia.
This is the third of the 4 quarter-finals. It's Porto against Milan. Porto in the blue livery of the football club, likewise Milan. Robert Dornbos in the Milan cockpit.
And Tristan Gomendi in the Porto car. I am not taking a guess again.
This is the warm-up lap. And once they hit the start-finish line, the race will essentially be underway. Let's have a look at Milan. Robert Dornbos, who had that awful weekend at Donington, never really got out the start blocks.
When he looked pretty strong with a 42.9 in the first qualifying heat earlier on. Maybe the track gets quicker and quicker because they are actually putting rubber on the track, and that's why we're seeing the lap times improving that much.
Already Basel and Corinthians through, and that means they'll be in really good positions for tomorrow's race 1. They'll be right towards the front of the grid no matter what happens from now on in. They'll be in the first top 4 positions.
Yes, they will. In the first top 8, actually, yes. So they've already done a good job so far the weekend. It's just now to make sure they start as much as the front as possible.
Just coming out of the Michael Schumacher race, getting the car down into 3rd gear. There's Porto. Porto just coming up to the final turn and over the start-finish line where his lap will begin, his hot lap. Here he comes. Any moment now he'll cross that start-finish line. He'll accelerate And here it comes. There, he's underway.
Let's pay attention at the first corner and the very difficult braking area, and he locks up, but he still makes the apex. It's okay, not too much of a time loss. He had to release the brakes a little bit, so it's not ideal. Let's remember the first sector from Corinthians was a 42.7. Let's see what he's capable of doing.
Porto appear to be slightly in front now.
47.9. That's not bad, that's not great. That's about 2/10 away from the Corinthians lap time, even though he's not competing against the Corinthians just now against AC Milan. It's just giving us an information of his performance.
Let's see how he does in Sector 2, Porto driver.
AC Milan in Sector 1 is quicker than Porto, 2.5 tenths, and AC Milan is currently doing a very strong lap with a 47.7 in the first sector.
When both cars have gone through the first sector, we can assess their relative speeds, and Milan are leading at this stage. Sector 2, 1:24.794 for Porto. Let's see how Milan are doing and whether they can beat that. They should beat that time. We're looking at Porto here.
Let's see what he does, and over the start-finish line, a 43.3 for Porto, which is not so good.
Milan seem to have messed up the second sector, no?
No, I just think it's a problem in the timing. Let's see what he does once he crosses the track. 42.3, AC Milan wins.
It's a victory for Milan.
Very good lap from Milan with a 42.3. It's only 1/10 away from the Corinthians. So it's going to be very tight whether we have Corinthians, AC Milan or Basel in the final. It's going to be very, very tight. They are all within 1/10 together.
There's the Milan pit and garage. Thumbs up there, all smiles. Robert Doornbos having a much better Nurburgring than Donington. That's an understatement.
Yeah, so far it's going well.
This is now the warm-down lap. So 3 of the 4 semi-finalists are now known. Milan, Basel and Corinthians both through, all through. Still to come, Galatasaray against Anderlecht in the 4th and final quarter-final.
Robert Doornbos taking it very easy back to the pits to save as much as possible his tires and cooling the car down.
Of the 3 semi-finalists through, Milan, Corinthians and Basel, who would you say were the favourites so far, Bruce?
It's difficult to say because Basel posted his lap time, the first one, and probably the track gets more and more rubber. So I say Corinthians are looking very strong.
So maybe we'll have a Brazilian success here at the Nurburgring.
But I'm sure Robert Doornbos from AC Milan will want to do very well, and he's not far off, only a 10th away, so we'll see. And he is the quickest in the first sector so far.
So Milan head back to the pit and ultimately the garage when he can think about his semi-final. So confirmation of the result with Milan beating Porto and heading into the semi-finals of the competition. The last quarter-final will see Galatasaray at the top, towards the top of your picture, in the red and yellow livery, playing Anderlecht. This is the warm-up lap.
Oula. Oh. Ooh la 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 la. Okay, not being on top of the car's power coming out of the pits, as you could see. It's the first time for the Anderlecht driver into the final shootout for qualifying. Let's see how he handles it.
Craig Dolby didn't make the last 8 at Donington. Relatively inexperienced driver. Up against Alessandro Pierguidi from Italy, who's in the Galatasaray car. Galatasaray made the quarterfinals at Donington, where they lost to Beijing. Can they go one better here and reach the semis?
For information, the Galatasaray car is the sister car from AC Milan, being run by the same team, Scuderia Play Team. So it will be interesting to see the lap time he's capable of doing. He's taking it very easy outside of the pits on his first lap. He should be a bit quicker than that if he wants the tire temperature to raise. Seems okay. Oh la la, what was he doing? He's probably talking to his team and not paying attention at what he does and where he drives. Needs to wake up. And he's driving in the middle of the track. It's a little bit strange.
So Anderlecht getting ready for his hot lap here and trying to put down a really strong time to try and get into the semi-finals. This is where he'll accelerate towards the start-finish line, and his lap will start very shortly indeed. It's all about the time. He's going into the first sector and the second sector.
There he goes, first braking. That's okay. Stopped the car very well. Clean on the exit. Car a little bit lazy to make the apex, but still he managed. Nothing special on the exit there. Let's remember 47.7 was the best first sector. Ooh, car moving a lot. That's quite good. Turn 5 and 6, that's okay. Let's look at the sector times.
Waiting for the sector time here for
47.9. That's quite good. That is quite good. And let's see what Galatasaray does as Anderlecht is running over the curbs.
Can he beat 47.909 in his first sector? Anderlecht coming up to the midway point of this ring. Still trying to get a sector time for Galatasaray.
Galatasaray very wide and generous over the curves, even over the gravels. And 47.86 for Galatasaray. He's ahead of, he's behind, but he's ahead in the times by 400ths of a second as Anderlecht is finishing his lap.
This is really, really tight. Anderlecht, if they can have a final burst here, might just squeeze into the semi-finals. They're over the line.
It's going to be so tight.
1:43.239.
That's not so good in the last sector for Anderlecht.
Let's see if Galatasaray can beat that time.
He should be able to. He really should, because AC Milan did a 42.3. He should be beating the lap by quite a lot. If not, he's not doing a good job.
Here he comes. Can he beat 1:43.239? He's over the line now.
42.7.
He's easily done it. Galatasaray through to the semi-finals.
Pierguidi and the team boss just there, happy. 2 cars going into the semi-final for Scuderia Play Team. Very good job indeed.
And a win there for Alessandro Pierguidi. And we have now determined the last 4 in the Super League formula. The shootout.
Still, he will have to do a better job in the semi-finals, Alessandro Pierguidi, because he is so far the slowest of the 4 remaining cars. The 3 quickest being a 42.2 for Corinthians, a 42.3 for AC Milan, a 42.4 for Basel, And finally, Galatasaray only a 42.7, which is about 4/10 off. Just for information, Liverpool, who has not made it through the semi-final, was quicker than Galatasaray with a 42.5.
But they didn't make it through.
No.
That's the nature of the draw, isn't it? You get drawn against who you get drawn against. So, confirmation of the result. Galatasaray have beaten Anderlecht, and Galatasaray are the fourth qualifier into the semi-finals. So this is the semi-final lineup. Corinthians will play Milan, and it's Galatasaray against Basel. It's Basel against Galatasaray. Two teams with similar livery, and we'll try to distinguish the difference. I'm pretty certain that's Galatasaray.
Yes, it is Galatasaray, and again, Alessandro Pierguidi being a little bit slow outside of the pits.
This is the warm-up lap. This is non-competitive. They've got to go right round the track here at the Nurburgring, and once they pass the start-finish line right in front of us, their real time begins. Whoever records the fastest lap will be through to the final in this novel shootout method employed by Superleague Formula, which makes this
sorry to interrupt. I have no idea why Alessandro Pierguidi is actually going so slow, because he's going to end up blocking FC Basel car, who has to really warm up the tires by waving rather than to actually put him some speed. We have the two cars at the same time on the screen, and it's not correct. Galatasaray should actually be quicker than that, because the way you put temperature into the tire is to brake hard at high speed. They have carbon brakes. Carbon brakes go up to 1,000 degrees inside of the wheel, and they spread the temperature into the tire. So he should actually go around quicker than that on his warm-up lap.
It's certainly a disadvantage to Basel, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure, because he's...
So is this a tactic?
No, I don't think it is, because he's actually killing himself as well by not being fast enough. And Basel is really trying to put some stress into the tires the way he can, but the best way is always to go quicker and to brake harder.
So he's about to head into the chicane, Galatasaray, and once he comes out of the chicane, he'll come up to the 12th turn, and then he'll brake hard and turn right into the paddock area and over the start-finish line right in front of us. And his lap is about to start. Here he comes into the home straight, and he's about to start his lap here. Galatasaray are underway in the semi-final, the first semi-final against Basel.
For me, not a great exit of the last corner. Okay, we have sector times coming up on the screen. We will see. Let's remember 47.7 was the best we saw today. Let's see what Galatasaray can do. They did a 47.9 on their previous lap.
Galatasaray heading for the first sector.
That's okay. I would say that's okay. Nothing special. Quite quick through there. Good through there.
Now let's see what his first sector time is.
55, 46, 47, 48.3. It's not a good lap.
So Basel have a real chance. Max Wissel has a chance to catch him up. Can he beat 48.394? Yes, he can with some ease. Basel are in the lead here and heading towards the final if they can keep up this impressive race. Max Wissel in the Basel car has done very well. Let's see how they do into the second sector.
Galatasaray having a little bit of oversteer on turning into the Michelin corners.
Into the chicane here for Galatasaray. 1:24.968. Can Basel beat that? They should do. Let's see how their sector 2 time looks.
Ooh, he made a mistake. He must have done a mistake. We haven't got sector 2, or maybe there is a problem with the timing. 1:43.4 for Galatasaray. Yes, Max Wissel is... Oh, what a shame. What a shame. I don't know what
happened here.
I have no idea what happened, but he just aborted his lap.
So a mistake by Max Wissel.
A mistake or a problem, I'm not sure.
He was 16 seconds over in the second sector, so something went wrong between sector 1 and sector 2.
Yeah, it's a shame we didn't see. Maybe he had a little problem with the gear selection as he was struggling into the pit lane.
But the story is that Galatasaray, with smiles on their faces, are through to the final after Basel encountered some sort of technical problems, and Galatasaray are through. The second semi-final about to get underway. At the front, it's Milan. Behind them, the Brazilians of Corinthians. And here go Milan with Robert Doornbos behind the wheel. Number one warm-up lap. As soon as they pass the start-finish point, their true qualifying lap will begin.
Robert Doornbos working the tires. And at the back of the screen we could see the Corinthians on track already.
These are still warm-up laps by both drivers. Milan slightly will enjoy the first chance to go through the start-finish line.
Let's have
Corinthians heading for the horseshoe shape, part of the track. Turn 6, heading for turn 7. Corinthians are the fastest car in qualifying today, so they would be favourites to win this semi-final. But they are up against Milan, who are second fastest. This probably could be the semi-final. Could well determine the winners as well, who might go through and win the final.
exactly. Whoever wins this semi-final has a good chance. And there you go, Robert Doornbos.
About to start his lap here, right in front of us. It's Milan over the line. We're looking for the first sector time to give us some indication of how fast Milan are driving.
Very good. He stopped the car a little bit early, but still very nice.
Into turn 3 and then turn 4 and then the long section down the hill.
Okay.
Still waiting for a first sector time as he's heading close to the first sector now.
AC Milan going down in turn 5 and 6, changing direction, managing to stop the car well enough. Ooh, not so good. And the first sector 47.94. It's going to be very tight because it's not great, but it's not bad. AC Milan 47.7. It was sorry, 47.7, not 47.9. So it's a very strong lap from AC Milan. Same sector as the Corinthians on their first best lap.
So Milan slightly ahead at this point. Let's see how they do heading for the second sector now.
It's 47.7 as well. There's only 200s between the two cars. It's super, super tight. They're exactly on the same lap time just now.
Really exciting semi-final. Will Milan or Corinthians head into the final? Very little between them, maybe only hundredths of a second now. This is Doornbos for Milan. Slight advantage, but a terribly slight advantage.
Sector 236.39 for AC Milan.
Still waiting for time for Corinthians.
And his lap time over the line is a 42.45. Very good lap time. Will it be good enough?
So can Corinthians beat it? 142.457 to beat. And here he comes. He will know in the next couple of seconds whether he's through into the final. He's over the line now.
No.
He's just missed out, and Milan have got through. That was really close, wasn't it?
It was really close, and he lost time into the second sector, Antonio Pizzonia, but a very good job indeed for his first appearance in the series.
Milan will face Galatasaray in the shootout final, but the second semi-final as close as anything.
Basically, those two cars in the final are the two Scuderia play team cars. So they must be delighted with that result.
What a result for the garage. Eh?
Yeah, fantastic. Together, they must be very, very happy in the play team garage.
This is the warm down lap.
So AC Milan goes through in the final.
They're happy bunnies, aren't they?
Yep.
Milan Football Club needed something to cheer them up this week. They managed to win in the UEFA Cup, but they've had some awful times on the football field of late. But now they're through into the final of the shootout here. Robert Doornbos seemed to have a bit of a point to prove, you know, after such a disappointing Donington when he had that fire.
Yes, he was up there in testing already. He did a good job. He was always in the top 5 in testing, so he was expecting a good weekend. He looks even stronger this weekend, and let's hope he hasn't got any problems and everything goes fine.
So a triumphant Milan come to the pit area and on to the garages. In the tighter of the two semi-finals, Milan beat Corinthians and are through to the final, where they'll meet Galatasaray.
Okay.
An extravagant wave and a bow.
I don't know why he's getting out of the car. Would Galatasaray have a problem? Would it take the best lap time? Because they should go for the finals now. We don't have any information coming on the screen. Yes, Pierre Guidi is out as well. So I think maybe Galatasaray had a problem, or we're well over the time allocated, and they've taken the fastest lap time, which is AC Milan basically over Galatasaray, which means AC Milan should be on pole position for tomorrow.
So the final will not be run off.
It looks like it won't, no, because they've taken off all the support for the head for the driver, so I don't think they'll be driving again, taking off the helmet. No, yeah, pole position for AC Milan.
So confirmation of the result. Milan win by default by recording the fastest lap. They beat Galatasaray and they win and are in pole position for tomorrow's first race here at the Nurburgring.